So research has actually shown that the single most attractive trait that a person can possess is the trait of availability. When it comes to dating, right, availability means, will this person like get sexy with me, do the nasty, nasty thing, right? In platonic relationships, will this person be my friend? Are they emotionally available? Can I rely on them? And then from a business perspective, can I work with this person and will they help me achieve my goals? If you start demonstrating availability, you're going to be perceived as more attractive by other people. Some of the things are going to be a little bit more tactical in terms of strategy. Others are a little bit more psychological. The person doesn't even realize why they like you or are drawn to you so much. It just works. Today, guys, I'm actually going to go over a few things that will automatically make you more attractive, literally without trying. So the inspiration for today's video is actually an article that I recently read over on the Science of People website by a woman named Vanessa Van Edwards, all right? Super sassy, like, coach that teaches people how to be more engaging, how to be more attractive, and also basically unlocks a lot of the secrets and nuances between social interaction when it comes to body language. Now, real quick, before we get into this, I do want to kind of set a baseline, right? Because we've talked about before the importance of first impressions, right? In the first 3 seconds when somebody meets you or looks at you, they are forming opinions based solely on the nonverbal communicating that you're doing in terms of your style. Is it good? Your hair, your grooming, your breath, all right, your handshake, not to mention the way that you smell. If any of these things are out of whack or not consistent with the way that you want to be perceived, unfortunately, these other things that we're going to talk about are not going to be as effective. A few little tips: dress well, overdress for whatever occasion you're going. Your grooming's got to be straight, right? You can't have a bunch of nose hairs or crazy like nastiness going on. Your eyebrows can't be all whack. Your nails can't be all bitten and gnarled. Your hands need to be soft and clean. And the way that you smell, this is one that you guys got to understand is crazy powerful, because if you smell good, this is like, honestly, like one of the things that can set you apart from everybody else. Something else that can is Scentbird. They are today's video sponsor. And real quick, today I want to tell you about 3 fragrances that I recently got that are literally unfreaking believable. Versace Eros Flame. Have you guys smelled that? If you have not smelled this fragrance, you have got to grab it now, right? I'm going to link to all 3 of these down below. Something else is Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Intense. Tumi Kinetic, have you guys smelled this? Like, great. Like, Tumi's been doing a great job with the fragrances, but this one could quite possibly be my favorite. All 3 of these that I got this month is insane. Now you're like, yo, how'd you get 3? I thought it was just 1. So here's the deal. Scentbird normally basically sends you 1 fragrance a month, right? The way that it works, you guys probably have already heard this, but let me just refresh it, right? You go onto their website and you build a fragrance queue. You select whichever fragrances you want, you add them to your queue, and then once a month, they're going to send you a new fragrance. Month number 1, you're also going to get this super sexy carrying case. That is amazing. It also has a little lock, right? It's incredible. And then next month, you're going to get the second fragrance in your queue. It allows you to try fragrances without spending a ton of cash on a big bottle. And the beautiful thing is the price. For under $17 a month, you get to try a fragrance. And it's not just like a little fragrance. It's literally like 0.27 ounces, which equates to like 120 squirts. But right now, for a limited time, if you use my discount code down below, Alpha M2, you're going to get your first month for 55% off. It's literally like under $8. It is a huge no-brainer, guys. You got to try it. You can cancel anytime. Scentbird is amazing. And the cool thing is that they've got all the designer brands, right? All the big names, all the boutique brands, but they also have some of these smaller brands, and some of those have honestly become my favorite. One of the things that I love so much about Scentbird, it lets you build a fragrance collection, not to mention try a smaller portion as opposed to spending a lot of money on a big bottle. But if you find one that you love, then you know, yeah, this is the one for me, and you buy a big bottle. Guys, Scentbird is amazing. Like I said, every month they're going to send you a new fragrance of your choice. For me, I upgraded, so I get 3 per month, all right? The 3 that I got this month, the Versace, the Dolce & Gabbana, and the Tumi, I'm going to link to down below if you want to grab them or check them out. Guys, read the reviews. It's not just my opinion. Everybody loves these fragrances. Guys, you are going to love Scentbird. Hit the link down below. Use the promo code ALPHAM2 to get 55% off your first month of Scentbird. So a lot of the things that Vanessa goes over were kind of like no duh, right? Like, you've heard it before, I've heard it before, we've all heard it before because it's common sense, a lot of it, right? Like open body language, right? You don't want to stand with your arms crossed, all right? One of the things though that I thought was very good was the concept of fronting, all right? Fronting is basically where you are standing in relation to the person that you're talking to, all right? Feet pointing to them, right? You've heard this before, right? It's about opening yourself up and facing them, allowing them to see that you are ready to engage and you're available to speak. The next trick is called the 5 and 15 method. Basically, you're going to attempt to touch somebody casually, unexpectedly, 5 times within a 15-minute window, all right? It could be when you first meet, touch their hand, and then a little bit later, right? Sprinkle in some other touches, whether or not it's on the shoulder, the arm, possibly the body. Touching on the body, you gotta be a little bit careful with, because that can be a definite sign that you are trying to ramp up the intimacy, right? But the bottom line is this: when we actually get spontaneously touched, it actually releases the chemical dopamine in our brain, right? And so it's powerful. You can do this within a span of 15 minutes, 5 times. It's going to make you much more attractive because they got that hit of dopamine. It also shows that you are open to touch, communication, and you are definitely available. The next trick is called eye gazing, right? Looking at somebody in the eye. There was this crazy study that basically took 2 strangers, put them across from each other and said, you got to look at each other in the eyes for 2 minutes, right? They set a timer and they made them do it, right? And what they found is that after the 2 minutes, the people felt closer and more connected to each other because they found that the body actually releases oxytocin, which is the love hormone, when you look or gaze into somebody's eyes. Unfortunately, if you try to get somebody and just like look at them, they're going to punch you in the nuts because it's weird. Instead, what I'd recommend 60 to 70% of the time is how much you should be making eye contact with somebody. When you're talking to somebody in a professional environment or you're just having a conversation with a girl, right? Making eye contact too much makes you look a little bit weird, but not making it all makes you look crazy and shifty and not interested. 60 to 70% of the time that you're actually talking to them is how much you should be looking at them in the eye, right? And then something else you need to know is that when you're listening, you want to ramp it up, right? When you're listening to somebody, active listening, right? You guys all know that. Lean in, make eye contact, nod, say yes, like stuff like that, right? You all know that. When you're listening to somebody tell a story or speak, making eye contact at that point is actually more important than when you're talking. And so you want to get into the habit of active listening, right? Nodding, using your body, and looking them in the eye at least 70% of the time. The next trick we're going to talk about is the wait and smile trick, all right? So as you know, smiling at people is an incredible way to attract them. It shows you're friendly and inviting, but you can overdo it, all right? In terms of like a scale, all right, from 0 to like 10, 10 being you're like smiling all the time, what she says is that you should generally be at around like a 6 or a 7. You don't want to overdo it. Research has actually shown that people that smile like too much or more often have less power and less status. So on a scale like 1 to 10, they're at like the 8, 9, like 10 range, right? These people are viewed as more like beta than the people that are smiling a little bit less. Now, if you never smile, this is also a terrible thing, but here's the deal. When it comes to you meeting somebody, what a lot of people do, which is wrong, is when they go up to them before they actually get introduced, they're smiling. Instead, here's what you do. The wait and smile trick is pretty awesome, all right? Instead of when you see somebody you want to talk to, like just smiling and going up to them, instead, what you want to do is actually go up to them. My name is Alpha. Pleased to meet you. At that point, smile. You wait until you actually are introduced or introduce yourself. The last trick we're going to talk about from Vanessa before I share with you some of my other secret ways to be more likable is actually about your hands, right? Research has shown that when we can't see somebody's hands, it makes us not trust them. And so you want to make sure that people can see them, but you want to make sure you also don't have closed hand position, right? Whether or not it's making a fist or not showing your palms, right? You want to be more open in terms of expressive. You want your fingers to be loose. You want them to be a little bit spread, not too crazy, because that's actually going to be perceived as begging, right? Loose, casual. A few other things that will instantly make somebody like you more. Number 1 is tell them a secret, right? We like to feel like we are special. And when you actually divulge something private or personal about yourself, it connects you super quick to that person, all right? Something else is allowing them to see your flaws. When you try to be perfect, unfortunately, it's a losing battle. Number 1, you're not perfect, neither am I, nobody is, but when you actually do express or show your flaws or something that you're insecure about, it once again connects you super quick to this person. The next trick is literally be in a good mood, right? If you're in a good mood, it's infectious. People can tell. But on the flip side, if you're in a bad mood or you're feeling pessimistic, even if it's in your head, it's going to come out. It's going to emanate. But when you meet somebody, if you're positive, if you're happy, if you're smiling, if you're engaging, this is automatically going to make them want to be with you because people want to be around with people that are in good moods. And the last trick I just want to talk about is be interested as opposed to interesting, all right? What I mean by this is what happens is a lot of times when we meet somebody, we like to talk about about ourselves. But if you flip it around, allow them to talk about themselves and basically be engaged and interested in what they're saying about themselves and asking probing questions accordingly, you are going to be automatically viewed as more attractive. People honestly like to talk about themselves, and if you're somebody that enables that or engages with that, you are going to be perceived instantly more attractive than somebody that's talking about themselves. Now, if they never ask you about yourself, it's probably not somebody you want to be with or around, because nobody likes somebody who likes to brag or boast or isn't interested in you. Something I'm interested in is you dropping one of these on the video down below if you dug this. I also hope you dig Scentbird. Guys, link below. Like I said, if you are ready to elevate and upgrade your nonverbal communication, smell amazing, hit the link down below, use the code in order to get 55% off your first month of Scentbird.